Well, 3 races in, 3 different winners here with the Area Cup Series in 2025. We now head to the Hoosier State as Indianapolis is next on the calendar. The wildness from Daytona, the action from Homestead to the insane racing we saw there in New Hampshire has now brought us to this rectangle out in the Midwest. I'm John Ramos alongside Hunter Sleppy. Hunter, we got a lot to get to here tonight before we even dial in the grid. But we got a lot of drivers heading to the rear. We got to talk about what happened last week. And most of all, we got to get ready for what's next and what's really brewing. 3 races, 3 different winners. Dylan Alt, really showed out in that last race, but you still had 2 underdogs. Do you think this race is going to be night and day different from what we had in the first 3 runs?
This race will be a good look at who the contenders are throughout the season. This is a big racetrack. A lot of guys that tend to run well on the big tracks tend to run well throughout the playoffs and put themselves in a good spot for the championship. Looking at guys like James Scioli, he's so close to getting that win. Had a top 5 last week through the melee. That was New Hampshire. That was unbelievable, to say the least. 25 yellows. I doubt we see that tonight. For this race at the Brickyard, we usually average about, I want to say 2, maybe 3 cautions in a race. And we only had 1 overtime finish, and that's back when the hometown native Blaze McKinney came through, took the lead on the green-white checkered, and just drove away with it. Last season was won by Jake Matheson. I don't think he's in the field tonight, and I did mention Scioli. He did win back in Season 4 when we took our first trip to the Art of Bricks, so I'm looking forward to tonight. I think it's going to be a refresh for a lot of these guys, but there are still some complaints about the car, how bad it is in dirty air, but it's not going to be as chaotic as New Hampshire. It's a longer straightaways for both ends, and then it's still somewhat slightly lessly banked turns. It's about 9 degrees for each turn, but one groove racing, going to be interesting seeing how these guys manage to go throughout the race, and we could see a long enough run for green flag pit stops, and that's going to play a different hand in the strategy.
Now let's talk about the cautions, because that was the big talking point in the Discord at the end of the race. That was a big talking point for multiple viewers when we got done on Monday. What is deemed a caution, and how is that consistent throughout the season?
Cautions are pretty much deemed by not by the admin, but by iRacing in itself. So if, for example, if anything goes below a certain point on the racing roof, that wouldn't be counted as a yellow. It just depends on the racetrack. Because it was New Hampshire and it's such a small track, it's very easy to trigger a caution given the location of where the cars are spinning at on the track. So that's probably why we saw a good bit of yellows. It usually happens on the short tracks. It'll happen at Bristol, and it'll happen at Martinsville. Don't think we go to Martinsville later in the year, but I think we do go to Bristol. The bigger tracks we usually see sometimes at Daytona, where a car will spin to the inside wall, but because it's below the apron, it won't be triggered by iRacing as a caution, so it's not determined through the admin, it's determined through iRacing itself.
So the big thing is no admin. We have off-track admins, and they don't touch the caution at all. It's all through iRacing and what iRacing deems the yellow.
Correct. The admins are there to handle any penalty points, and my oh my, we have quite a bit of drivers with penalty points. I mentioned earlier throughout the season, but I'll give her a little refresh. There's a penalty system ranging from 0 points to 9 points. If you're at 9 points, you're done for the season. 6 to 8 points, you're on probation, and you're suspended for the next race. Now, for the Cup Series, we don't have that, but for the Pro Series, we have 1 driver in that realm already through 3 races. 4 to 5 penalties. It's a drive-through under green at the beginning of the race. We have about 6, maybe 7 guys who have drive-throughs from what I'm seeing, and then we also have EOLs. So EOLs is just the end of the line penalty for the start of the next race. So if you qualify up front and you have an EOL, that's not going to matter. You're going to start at the back. From my count, we have 21 drivers who have EOLs to serve for this race, and that's a lot. But if you get 1 point, it's just a warning, and that's that. But for the guys that have drive-throughs for this race, I'm looking at Ford Martin, Philip Groner, Bailey Turner, Jonathan Evans, Ed Shearer Jr., Peyton Howell, and Sam Brochu. So that's Those are the drivers who are going to have to serve a drive-through under green flag conditions, and half the field quite literally has EOLs. So qualifying is going to be interesting to say the least.
Yeah, because right now, Dylan All, he's fastest in practice. Weishart, Miller, Brochu is P4. How you take this race is going to be interesting because racing at Indianapolis with the Gen 6 car, the car tomorrow, the Gen 4, completely different than what you're used to in the NASCAR Next Gen. Now, you just mentioned 2 cautions. That's about on average. The passing, I expect it to be pretty high. It's a little bit different than what you're used to on the in-person side with the Next Gen. This is where I think the excitement's going to really rage, just because on iRacing, historically, we've seen this car outperform entertainment standards here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We're about 3 minutes away. Hunter, last week, once again, was wild. That's behind. 3 races, 3 different winners. Do we go 4 for 4?
I say we do, and we've had 3 different winners each time here at the Brickyard. James Skyley won back in Season 4. McKinney won with a, not a last lap pass, but with a pass on a green-white checker in which it only went from about the start-finish line to the entrance of Turn 2. So how he got that pass, I still have no clue to this day, but he's still the only hometown kid to win. And last season, Jake Matheson won from the pole, so really the winner could come from anywhere in the field. Like I mentioned, Matheson won it from the pole. Blaze McKinney, he started all the way back in 23rd in Season 5 and managed to win. James Skyley qualified 10th in Season 4 and drove through to the victory. And like I mentioned earlier, the yellows, I expect long green flag runs. I don't think we had a yellow in Season 6, because from what I'm seeing, it said 85 to go was the last yellow, or unless there was a quick yellow at the beginning. But other than that, there was long enough runs for green flag pit stops, so we should see that. And mention also Blaze McKinney, hometown hero, winning. David Weishart, you mentioned his name. He's second quickest in practice. He's from Indiana. He's going to want to put on a show for his fans and family. Same with Bryce Senesac and Garrett Grant, as well as Blaze McKinney trying to become the first 2-time winner at the Brickyard.
Going to be a lot of fun to see. For all the NR Night in America viewers, once again, Monday night is league night. And it's been like that for now the last couple of weeks. Tomorrow is the 28th e-ticket event, that being the Southern 500. Will be live here at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. Right when we get done with this race, the overlays of this race come down. The next overlays come up for the Southern 500, and we expect to see all you great viewers. We have some area drivers racing in as well. Connor Horn coming back, second e-ticket for him. Let's talk about Connor. He is someone that is willing to go to different communities. How is he personality wise, should I say, in area? Because he's gotten a huge liking now in the NR community side.
Well, Connor Horn was a big part of the broadcast team previous for area, back in the Truck Series and the Pro Series, and he's usually a somewhat middle of the pack guy. Like, he'll be up front, he'll contend for wins, but there's some days where it just won't be his day, and he'll ruffle up some feathers, but he's not afraid to get aggressive, and that's the one thing that can stand out about him and why the fans love him so much. And it's been a while since he drove to victory lane. He didn't have a win last year. He had 8 top 10s, but had his best finish of the season in 3rd, so things are on the come up for Connor Horn, and I think this could be a track where he could pull through for that first win tonight.
Gonna be fun to see. Currently he is 16th quick. Indianapolis, a lot of fun, very exciting. We're ready to go ahead and get it all going. Just seconds away from us going ahead and letting these drivers loose for single car qualifying. Let's head trackside from the Hoosier State. Welcome to the Brickyard. Welcome to round 4 of the Area Cup Series at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And a beautiful look as we see. I believe there's a little bit of partly cloudy areas. Yes, very much so. And they'll be continuing to cycle in and out. Left side of your screen, Dylan Alt, Weishart, Miller, and Brochu, the 4 fastest in practice. Connor Kresick was 5th, and everyone locks in and ready to go. Slappy, we just saw it, at least from our side, 48 drivers attempting to make the 43 car show. Who early on is on the bump?
No, it's kind of hard to tell who's on the bump. I don't have the practice list with me, but it all depends about how you manage to go through the turns. Like, you don't want to mess up in any part of the track. Although the turns are the same, entering them they are completely different. Going into turn 1 and going into turn 3, it's going to be the key points you're going to want to go through there. Not too aggressive. You don't want to clip the grass either, otherwise it upsets the car. We'll see. I think Ryan Swan, I believe, is a go-or-go-home driver, so he wants to put on a show and have a good enough time to have his friends and family watch from afar. Also, didn't even mention this, but there's a huge line of storms all across the East Coast, spanning from Florida all the way up to New York, so it might affect some of these guys at some point throughout the night. It's very treacherous out there, and I think I'm just getting the worst of it right now.
Okay, we're going to keep that all in mind, including with other drivers being at least early on at risk. Okrezik, Scioli, all they're going to continue to go ahead and roll their way around the Speedway. While that's going on, we're going to bring it back quickly to our studios here in Nashville, Tennessee. We also went through a little bit of a debrief last night. Wanted to make sure everything is still A-okay, at least on our side. And that comes down to everything on the detail and making sure everything is, without a doubt, good to go. Checking every little detail just to make sure. But yes, this is something that's going to happen throughout the spring. You're going to have drivers really having to deal with this, I would say, on a consistent moment. We're going to be checking, where the weather is. What could it be impacting? I know tomorrow night we're having stuff come our way. We have to go ahead and keep an eye on what is coming and what could be soon to come with all the wildness that is going on storm-wise here during the spring months. We are watching Brett Puncari roll around the Speedway. John Hall, Jeremy Miller, he's going around as well. Turner, Weishart, and others still left to qualify. Left side of your screen. And you see them all running with what they've got here in the moments. Beckner, Okrezik. Okrezik up to 6. Max Service on the Speedway. Groner, Brochu. One of those drivers, and we are seeing a little bit of a technical issue on our side. Looking to go ahead and update that as things continue to go on. But yes, racing here at Indianapolis as we continue to roll. League Night in America. All the updates coming on once again tomorrow night at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. We do have our e-ticket event, that with NR Night in America. With the Area Cup Series, the great racing will continue week in, week out. We'll have racing also next Monday. That to keep in mind as we get ready to roll. Area just really early on in this 2025 season. And still, once again, 3 races, 3 different winners. Yeah, 2 underdogs go to victory lane. What is next? That's what we're all going to be keeping a watchful eye out for. And we'll continue to roll from there. You saw the 09 come to a stop. Dylan Alt, quick time. He's currently on top of the board. Everyone else running through. Nichols, 5th. Knoll finding his way up the ladder as well. Barroso. Seeing where he can go. That's Lee Norton on your screen. Ford Martin. Hansman Yonashinu. Another trying to go ahead and better his time. Still looking and updating things as of this moment. Getting things rolling. Before we go ahead and grid them up and line on up for round number 4. Final seconds on the board. Alt, Scott, Scioli, and Curran will find themselves into the Fast 4. We'll grid up here from Indianapolis as we get ready to roll. Welcome to round 4 of the Area Cup Series live on the IDK Player YouTube channel. League Night in America. If you haven't gotten used to that yet, I would say now may be the time to get just a little used to it, because we're going to be talking about it non-stop. The warm-ups will be coming. They'll be heading on in. And from there, the go or go homers will be swung in check. Weishart, Dillenall. Waiting on updates from that side. Jonathan Evans, Bailey Turner. Turner onto the Speedway, Connor Horn. Horn in 67. You will see him race tomorrow night at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. Okrezik, Scioli, Hall, Miller, Knoll, Norton, Punkari, Swan, and others. We'll wait for Schaefer, we'll wait for others to go ahead and make their way through. Let's start speaking with some drivers as they get ready to roll here tonight with round number 4 of the Area Cup Series. Let's talk with Curran. Not too bad of a starting spot, at least for him, off of qualifying. Curran, John Ramos, you got a copy?
Hey, John, what's going on?
Got a question for you. 1, are you one of the drivers going to the back? 2, what a great qualifying lap there. What are we expecting tonight at Indianapolis?
Yeah, I appreciate it. No, I'm actually one of the lucky ones that doesn't have an EOL tonight because I was actually not in the race last week, which sounds like was probably a good thing to have happen, actually. But yeah, I'm happy with the lap, starting fourth, so starting up front. I know there'll be lots of EOLs tonight, so it'll kind of shuffle up who's around me, possibly. But yeah, hoping for a strong run in tonight.
Hoping for a strong run indeed. What were you able to grab from practice? What are you expecting in the race? Will we see a lot of passing? Will we see some pit strategy? We know anything can really happen at Indianapolis.
Yeah, so the car it's pretty slippery out there, so it'll be a handful to deal with for everyone. But yeah, I'm expecting lots of pit strategy involved. I think the race could definitely go green. I think that's happened in the past. So yeah, fuel and tire strategy could certainly come into play. So we could see lots of different strategies here.
Gonna be a lot of fun to see. So they're gonna be lining up here in just a matter of moments. They're figuring out who's in, who's out. You got 2 minutes to roll with track temp. Does that mean anything for this race? And if so, where is it gonna affect you?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's already slippery out there, so man, it's going to be kind of just holding on for dear life at times, especially at the end of a long green flag run if we have one. So yeah, I mean, track temp at this point I don't think is a huge factor just because it's already slippery anyway, so I don't think there's anything that's going to save us from that. So we'll see, but hopefully we're there at the end and fighting for a win.
Gonna be a lot of fun to see. Good luck from here on out. A lot of racing to go tonight. 80 laps. That's Michael Curran right now starting, if I'm not mistaken, back there in row number 2. We talked with Punkar a little bit last time. We've spoken with some of these other drivers before getting things rolling. But how about the driver from Powerhouse Racing, Sam Brochu, has, well, let's say history from being up front here at Indianapolis. Brochu, John Ramos, you got a copy?
Yes, sir, I got you.
Expectations heading into tonight?
Drive. If we can get a lucky caution pretty early on, then we're going to the front.
Bingo. That's what you're hoping for right there. So far, only 5 drivers have put down a time in warm-ups. What did you learn from practice? What are you expecting in the race?
Tied in, loose off, pretty much just as I expected. I expect it to be worse in the draft, but not as loose off since we'll probably be running in 5th gear. But it would be important to back up the corners, to plan accordingly for passes, to be slower in but quicker off than other guys and just beat them into the corner. So that's what I've learned. That's what I'm hoping to apply in the race, and yeah, we'll see where we end up.
Let's talk about strategy, because every time there's an iRace anywhere at Indianapolis, fuel lottery always comes into mind. Now it's an 80-lap race. You need cautions, I think, to fly your way for things to really get bold. Is there an opportunity where tire lottery or fuel lottery comes up tonight?
I think fuel lottery will come up more than tires. It's the tire fall off is just too great, I think, to try anything. You might be able to pull off right sides with not being able to pass, but if there's going to be a strategy tonight, it's definitely going to be fuel.
All right, going to be a lot of fun to see. You got a lot of drivers hunting for that win tonight. Good luck there. Now the clouds have rolled on in to Indianapolis. You're going to see that day and the night transition as you would expect it to be. In reality, it's just the sun dipping in behind the clouds. That's where the grip is going to come on out. Powerhouse, see if they're a powerhouse tonight. That was Sam Brochu. As the field lines up, Hunter Sleppy. Well, we're getting ready for anything you've heard, at least early on, from some of these drivers.
Just complaining about dirty air. It's tough to pass when you're in the corner, obviously, so braking points are going to be huge. And the starting lineup you're about to read, 6 of the guys inside the top 10 are going to the back. Those being Kwame Scott, James Scioli, Jake Nichols, Seth Knoll, Peyton Howell, David Weishart, and Frankie Barroso.
Okay, Barroso back there in 10th. Cabot watching Brochu as well. And once again, another week where not a single Ford will be starting up inside the top 20. It's all bow ties and Yodas as we get ready to go green. Alt versus Scott. That'll be leading us down into turns 1 and 2. Excitement, yes indeed. 80 laps, you got it here with the Area Cup Series. Viewers filing on in. We got a couple questions for the viewers down in the chat below. Will we see a pass for the win on the final lap tonight at Indianapolis? We've seen it before. This historic venue has put on great racing in the past on this YouTube channel. We expect the same here tonight. How about an underdog story? What are the opportunities of that coming up for 3 of the 4 weeks? Wouldn't be surprised at that.
Oh, sorry.
No, that was actually for you.
Sorry, I'm juggling 2 different things over here. Underdogs, looking through, I would probably consider Frankie Barroso to be an underdog, although he's starting at the end of the longest line. Same thing with David Weishart, although he is a former Cup champion. It's been a while since he's been to victory lane. I feel like this will be a perfect place for him to do it. Like I mentioned, home track, wants to win. He's looking forward to this race a lot compared to the one next week at Watkins Glen, so going to be wanting to get a win. And fuel mileage, I'm looking at around 35 laps, maybe 40 if some of these guys want to stretch it, but 30 to 35 was a pretty safe range if we do have green flag pit stops.
Going to be fun to see how that all rolls out. Remember I said Kwame Scott will be leading us to green. How about nah, he's going to the rear. Row 1, Dylan All and Scott will be changing up. Row number 2, Scioli and Michael Curran will line up toe-to-toe. Jake Nichols and Seth Knoll, all of row 3 to the back. See ya. Row 4, Peyton Howell and David Weishart. We lined up Weishart to the rear. Row number 5, Jeremy Miller and Frankie Barroso. Barroso kicking it to the rear as well. Continue to count it because Adam Cabot and Sam Brochu originally line up in row 6. Cabot, say it with me, to the rear. Goodbye. Row 7, Blaze McKinney to the rear with Brandon Bowie sitting in his respected row. Row 8, John Hall and Connor Horn were goody 2-shoes at New Hampshire. They stick where they are. Row 9, Travis Beckner and Seth Berger line up and get ready to roll. Patrick Moose and Connor Okrezik line in row number 10. Barrett Polimis lines up to the rear with Tanner Betha lined up, shotgun to this inside. Reese Schaefer and Bailey Turner checked in row number 12. Tyler Nichols and Lee Norton line up in row 13. Brett Pucari and Ed Robertson line up in row 14. Row 15, Justin Anasogak and Josh Cottle say we're not going anywhere from what happened just the previous week. Row 16, Eric Wineland and Edward Shearer are ready to rock and roll. Row 17, excitement as Ben Pierce and Max Service lock in. Pierce to the rear. Row 18, Bryce Senesac and Cosmin Yonashinu. With row 19 is all Ford Martin and Hayden Swank. Row 20, Matt Stallneck will line up with Dwayne Culberson. And that is what we got locked in before row 21. Jacob Emery and Ryan Swan. Swan, one of the go-or-go-homers. He's in the show, but he is to the rear. Logan Clampett and Matthew Bell, row 22, with Philip Kroner, Jonathan Evans, and the rest of the field that did not make it into the show. 43 drivers are racing in this race here at Indianapolis. Logan Clampett locked in. You'll see a lot of these drivers still shuffling about as they wait to hear who is going where, what, why, and how. So all will line up and lead us to green with Michael Curran on the outside, now currently of row number 1. Still both Chevrolets, now Lucky Duck having an opportunity. Scioli, Curran, Nichols, Noel, Howell, Weishart. Out of some of those names, they went to the rear. But at Indianapolis, the unpredictability can be so high. You could have what you had at New Hampshire, even though we hope for that not to be the case. You could have what we had at Daytona, or you could have what we had at Homestead. 3 races so far this year, 3 different outcomes. Do we get a 4th tonight? That's what we all wait and wonder. Great crowd on hand. For the ones looking for the e-ticket event, that'll be live tomorrow night at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. Tonight, it's all area as League Night in America commences once more. Chevrolets on the front row, Toyota Chevy in row number 2. 80 laps of action. Are ready to go for the Brickyard. Pace car makes a hard left on the pit road as they line up 2 by 2 off turn 4 and to the yard of bricks. Inside lane, all the drivers that went to the rear. Basically starting single file. Let's light the fuse from the Hoosier State. We're green from Indy. Curran, Scioli, Bowie. Bowie in the 4th spot. Miller and Hall 5th and 6th. Caution on the Speedway, and for an incident deeper in the field, Ryan Swan. Looked to maybe had a piece of it, and already under the caution flag for the first time today. 3rd event in a row, I believe we've had a caution within their 5 laps. Ryan Swan, do love this 20 machine. By the way, a nice welcome in return to all the Trading Paints Pro schemes that we have had. A return after last week, Trading Paints was not working. Incident deep, you saw the slide coming off turn 2, mostly trying to go to avoid Blaze McKinney locking it down, and that's what was deemed a caution. We did find out, yes, 43 drivers racing. We did find out that the cautions are deemed by iRacing, not race control. So single car spins point in favor of what iRacing believes is an incident on track. You see it again, incident on the outside lane between the 8 machine. And that was Matthew C. Bell, or excuse me, Matthew W. Bell. As he went sideways, McKinney really not much left to roll with. Did catch the inside barrier. So the caution will wait for the first time. Whether it's a quickie or a wait around, we'll soon to wait and see. Alt Curran, they didn't really get the opportunity to go racing, and they will find their way under a slow as they work their way back down the front stretch. Do they come to pit road? Not sure. We did hear some interesting talks about dirty air, or do we expect passing? A whole lot of it. Dirty air really coming to the fact that these drivers are getting very tight on entry, not so fast for others that would like to take the opportunity to come on in and take the strategy call of fresh tires. No Weishart, some of these drivers that started deeper in the field that could have been involved in it will come their way to pit road. Lights still on top of the pace car. This is an opportunity for us to go ahead and speak with some drivers before we go back green flag racing. Let's chat actually with Kwame Scott. Scott, John Ramos, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Always love speaking with you. Now you're starting from the rear of the field after incidents from what happened at New Hampshire. How do you work your way through this pack? What are some challenges? Early caution, does it give you any type of advantage?
I'm just going to take my time. Luckily, I qualified second, so I was able to start ahead of all the people that got penalties, so that helps a lot. But I'm just going to take it easy, try to keep the nose clean, and I'm sure our pace on the long run will be enough to get back up to the front.
Well, early cautions. I don't think it's going to shape up the strategy too much, but every lap here at Indianapolis, very lengthy, including compared to a home setter in New Hampshire. Fuel lottery, tire lottery. Do we have to worry about tires tonight? Do we have to worry about fuel tonight?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm shutting the engine off right now. Probably should have topped off right there.
Really?
Yeah, probably should have topped off right there, but I'm just cutting it off, trying to save as much as I can.
I don't want to go into your playbook, but I'm going to just kind of maybe turn a page. If we go green the rest of the way, you're going to have to definitely pit more than once, if I'm not mistaken, or is it going to be close?
Enough fuel. I mean, if I save enough fuel, the plan is to only pit once still.
Really?
So,
okay.
Yeah,
Wow, so this could be a one-stop race.
Or not, but yeah, we'll see.
Oh.
That's the plan.
Keeping that in the back of the mind. That was Kwame Scott, and we're going to hear from Hunter Sleppy. Sleppy, what did you hear?
Well, I was in the...
Oh, and we just lost Hunter for a moment. Excuse me on that one.
I was in the channel with Solar Flare when that incident occurred, and Jake Nichols just so happened to be alongside of that, and he was voicing his displeasure about how early it was to be going like that and wrecking. Then I jumped up to 609, and Adam Cabot said that from his point of view, it seemed like the 8 went down. At least from what I saw, it seemed like that's what happened as well. It is a bit early to go 3 wide, though, but the admins instead ruled in favor of the 8, so that's 2 penalty points to Adam Cabot. And this thunder is getting pretty bad. Ed Robertson and Jeremy Miller, we're like in a bubble close to each other, so we're all feeling the same effect. And Ed Robertson told me if I cause a wreck tonight, it's because my power went out.
Big question here, because mainly I don't know if there's a rule for it. I know some leagues do have this. If a power goes out due to inclement weather and a driver gets disconnected, A, are they allowed to come back? And B, are they allowed to get their laps back?
I don't think they're allowed to get their laps back, but I believe they're allowed to come back, but they'd be
Okay, something to keep in mind for all those ones watching back at home. Well, weather, that's going to be a big curveball tonight for some of those drivers. For Dylan Allen and Michael Curran, they're saying, let's get this show back on the road, Indianapolis. A fun spot to go ahead and have some great racing. Alt, Curran, Scioli, Bowie, Miller, Horn, Hall, and Berger. That's the Elite 8. They'll line up 2 by 2 just one more time off turn 4. As the field awaits the green flag. Some elected to pit the top off. Most are going to try to do it in a one-stop strategy. Fuel lottery. We're speaking about it early here from Indianapolis as the Area Cup Series tries it one more time. To the restart zone and back underway. Dylan Alt fires off into turn 1. Curran, Scioli, Bowie on the outside in 54, has Horn in 67, Berger in 77, all trying to squeeze to the short chute. Bowie not leaving Scioli just yet. That's for 3rd and 4th. 2 by 2 deeper in the field. 11th, 12th, 13th. Wheel to wheel now. That's for the 4th position. Jeremy Miller in 30. Brandon Bowie in 54. Right on with Connor Horn. The excitement, the wonder, some already coming to pit road. And that actually may be due to penalty. Brochu is in. Howell and others, they were not able to serve the penalties from earlier in the week, if I am not mistaken, because of the caution coming on out. So we stay green. Dylan Alt, 47 on the left side of your screen. Number 3 for his Trading Paint Pro scheme. Keep that in mind. Curran in 2nd, Scioli in 3rd, Jeremy Miller back and forth. Connor Horn is in the 5th position. Has company, I wouldn't say too close back. That's Brandon Bowie, John Hall, and others, 6th and 7th. Seth Berger back in 8th. Six laps in, coming to 7th. If you're just tuning on in, we say hello and welcome. It's rush hour from Indianapolis here in the great state of Indiana. You're watching round 4 of the Area Cup Series. Battle on the Speedway on the nose-to-tail side. That was John Hall in 03, Seth Berger in 77. And this is where you got Indianapolis, right? That single file racing. Not going to see a lot of pushing, shoving 2x2, maybe deeper in the field, where you already see maybe about 16th, 17th, 18th. Some drivers trying to make some moves back there. You see Schaefer in 97. Trying to roll with some speed. Bear Polimas, 3 wide. Schaefer has Blaze McKinney to his inside. To the right wing of Max Service. Tiptoeing back to the chute of 3 and 4. Riding on board, Ryan Swan. Into Rick's Hot Sauce, number 20. As the pass-through penalties have come and gone. Hit strategy is going to be interesting here tonight. I want to see who can maybe go out there and extend that full length with just the one stop. Seth Knoll, Barrett Polinas, David Weishart. Weishart underneath the 79. This is a fight deeper in the field. For 23rd and 24th, Weishart has Seth Knoll just behind him. How about up front? Jeremy Miller has found his way to 2nd around Michael Curran. And the new question will be, can he go out there and take the lead from that number 3 machine? Swampers RC dropping down the hot pass. You'll have an opportunity to use all the icons that'll be updated tomorrow for the Southern 500. Scioli, Horn, Bowie, 4th, 5th, and 6th. John Hall in 7th, Seth Berger in 8th. The toe-to-toe racing, it's still deeper in the field, but I would say scattered out. Now mostly back to single file. Here's Ben Pierce, tail end of the entire charade. Then you got Peyton Howell and Bailey Turner. Those are the drivers that pass through penalties. 39th, 40th, 41st. First driver out of the race, Sam Brochu. And the number 98, he is currently off and out. Miller P2. Connor Horn underneath Michael Curran. Curran's very much taking it easy. He's not going out there and doing a crazy block, being over aggressive, trying to save the car for what he can use for later in the race. Here's the fight for the race lead. It's Miller on the inside. Back to Alt on the top. Late break for Miller, and he's going to take the lead at turn 3. .609 sits first, sits third. Lucky Duck back and forth. Scioli, Bowie. Bowie watching on with Scioli in front of him. Berger in 9th, Beckner back to 10th. Still no changes from Alt, 2nd. Connor Horn sitting in 3rd. And I'm really curious to see what 609 is going to do during this race to not just capitalize now, but maybe hold that position later on. Because we've seen it with Indianapolis. Drivers will come out of the gate just flying through. And the next thing you know, 15 laps in, 20 laps in. What happens 30 laps into a run? Sometimes they're not even shown up inside the top 10. Connor Okrezik, kind of no man's land in 11th. 10th place, pretty far behind. 11th, that's where he is. While in the mirror of 12th and 13th, you see Lee Norton and Tanner Betha. Norton, a little right front damage there on the Toyota Camry. What to do if you're alt? Do you continue to try to go for the race lead? Do you put your own pace in hand? And how do you hold off Connor Horn? Because the 609 guys were quick to start. I say this as in saying Jeremy Miller is, light years ahead. In reality, Dylan Alt, less than half a car length, maybe a car length at most, with the back bumper of the number 30. Toe-to-toe, deeper in the field, Eric Weiland. Kwame Scott, Weiland trying to hold on to what he has. They're that number 21 machine, Tyler Nichols. Looking underneath, Josh Connell shutting the door on the 21. What's going on for third? No pressure from behind, not pressuring from in front, but all gets loose off turn 4 and starts cutting back into the lead of Jeremy Miller. Now Miller has the advantage down into the turns, including the first turn. You're going to see Dylan Alt's car get really tight right here. Drives it in deep, washes just a little bit higher. This is where he's at a disadvantage, because Alt's going to be right in that draft and really didn't lose time on entry. An opportunity to pass back for the lead. Chevy on Chevy. Alt looking underneath. Bails out of the throttle. Now it's about doing what you can while you can do it. Horn in third, Curran. Loose off turn number 4. There's toe-to-toe behind. I believe that still may be that number 54 machine. Don't check that, not the 54. That's Lee Norton in 85 with Tanner Betha in 78. Lucky Duck Motorsports dropping down a gifted membership. How about with Jess going ahead and getting that? You can watch the e-ticket tomorrow with the updated icons, and in the outside wall goes Lee Norton. Dylan Alt is there. He's 6 back to Jeremy Miller. The question will be, can he capitalize? Scioli, a great run, including earlier in the season with the strides he's had. Alt, no move, just out of line. Everyone else single file deeper in the field. 15, now make it 16 laps into this race. You still got 65 laps to go. The fight's still on for the race lead. Here's Dylan Alt to the inside of Jeremy Miller. Miller gets tagged. What a save by the 30, and Alt takes reign downstairs to turn 2. Unbelievable. Connor Horn gets jammed up. Here comes Curran to the bottom. Scioli in 7. .64 to go. And now if Miller gets back to him, does he take it easy or does he put his chips right back to the middle? Scioli peeking underneath Curran. Not able to fully take grasp of it just yet. Brandon Bowie 7th. Patrick Moose back there in 8th. Beckner in 9th. Seth Berger, and then you have another cell of machines, Nichols, Wineland. How about Cottle? Rami Scott finding his way around the 13 as Betha to the outside and can't swoop across the bow to go ahead and complete the pass. Still toe-to-toe coming off turn 4. He's able to do it now, but oh man, didn't give Betha much room. And that's going to be probably a nice little chat maybe later on for some drivers. This is your top 3, top 4. How about the top 5 under a full second of each other? Current, Scioli, Horn, Miller, and all. You're watching the Area Cup Series live on the IDK Player YouTube channel. March is almost done, and the final race of March of that, because come April 7th, we're at Watkins Glen for the 5th round of the season, the first road course of the 2025 season as well. North Wilkesboro to follow, and then Darlington will be April 28th. Single file for now, but you've already seen drivers use the muscle. When will you start seeing some of these drivers coming onto pit road? The question we are all wondering. Hunter Sleppy, John Ramos, you got a copy?
Yes, I do.
All right, what are they saying after a little bit of action up front?
Some guys are saving fuel by shifting early through the center of the corner, or actually on corner entry. Some guys are complaining about the way they're being raced towards the back half of the field outside the top 20. And then some guys are just trying to manage through the difficulty of the weather. At least still for Ed Robertson, he was complaining about how he was seeing thunder, and then how he saw lightning, and then broke into a Lightning McQueen ka-choom. So that's about it right now. Guys are just trying to buy their time, and some of them were even talking about when they're going to pit.
Oh, okay. Is there a range, at least as of now?
Some are saying within the next 15 to 20 laps, whenever the tire wear gets to be too bad for them. So probably around that range.
Okay, 15 to 20 laps. We're going to keep that all in mind. Thank you, Hunter. 61 laps to go. It's going to be tough for some of these drivers, I think, to fully commit to that one stop, unless they came to pit road early with that caution that came on out. Everyone else, it'd be fun to see. 20. I think the goal is to at least get to 40 to go to come to pit road. From there, you can be somewhat safe. And by somewhat, I still mean you have to save gas. But interesting things indeed. You got strategy. You got some drivers being aggressive deeper in the field, as previously mentioned. Others not being liked how they're being raced. How about just outside the top 15? Here's Seth Knoll in the 19th spot. David Weishart in 18th. Lee Norton in 17th. Toe-to-toe. Nichols, McKinney. McKinney gets just in front of the 9 and jams on the brakes. Behind him, Barrett Polimas in 79. Two Toyotas side by side. Lee Norton playing limbo with Seth Knoll and is going to take it 3 wide. Weishart goes wide. Norton loses a spot, and Knoll picks up 2 to turn 3. How about it? And that's where you're starting to see just the different ways of racing throughout the field. Some saving, I'm going to say it again, some taking it easy, some being aggressive, passively aggressive, then there's just, you know what, we're going to straight send it. For Seth Knoll, says, I'm going to do that with a Solar Flare Toyota. So Connor Horn has found his way into the 2nd position. Jeremy Miller, oh, he's dropping back to the 5th place spot. John Hall in 6th, Brandon Bowie in 7th. I wonder what Miller's doing. Let's take a listen. The goal is to hear if he's saving, if he's letting others by. Double lift into the 4th turn. The real question, I want everyone to listen, what he does here to turn 1, maybe on John Hall. Does he go for the pass? Does he stay in line? Stays in line, lifts a little bit earlier. I think Jeremy Miller is on now a save strategy, and now he's going to use up. That's Brandon Bowie finding his way to the left wing of the 30. That allows Connor Horn also to find his way to the second spot. As previously mentioned, caution on the Speedway. And this throws a wrench in most hands. Looking around the Speedway to see who maybe could have been involved in it. Nothing to be seen, at least from some of these drivers. One driver out of the race, that's, or should I say two now, that's Ricky Springer and Sam Brochu, 42nd and 43rd. But no, not a car in sight, at least with heavy damage, from what we're able to diagnose. Interesting indeed. Let's bring in Hunter Sleppy. Sleppy, John Ramos holds the caution for.
Yellow for the 71 Cosman Yoshida. We already typed it that he came up into
there it
Blaze
is.
McKinney. Nope. Yeah, he apologized over the team speed. His mic's not working, but he apologized to McKinney for that. Also, towards the back, saw Jake Nichols is slowly but surely making his way back towards the front. He was close to being caught up in a couple of three-wide situations where they almost wrecked in front of him. Jumped up to see who one of the drivers was. It was David Weiser. He was upset, as can be, over the way a certain driver was racing him. I won't mention names, but some guys very frustrated with the way things are going so far.
And there you see it, the replay. Blaze McKinney in 87, Yonashinu in 71. It has been a tough couple of weeks for Yonashinu. Involved in multiple incidents at New Hampshire. Getting picked in this one. This is going to put the strategy a little bit interesting, because if we go green the rest of the way, it's going to be forced to be a one stop by most. So fuel strategy is now out the door. It's going to be when do you come to pit road, whether it's for a short pit, a long pit. For the European viewers, it would be considered undercut or overcut. And for Cosman, I'm not sure if his race is over. Same for Blaze McKinney. Nonetheless, a nasty lick for both those machines. Let's watch different view. 3 wide. Yonashinu comes up, catches the left rear of Blaze McKinney. And it's enough to bring the caution out for the second time today. So those drivers on pit road, Dylan Alt, Kwame Scott, are in. And with 56 laps to go, we look to be having a restart. Alt wins the race off pit road. Connor Horn goes to second. Aggression versus saving. That shuffled some of these drivers around. I would say now it's going to mostly be go, 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 because you cannot go the rest of the way on fuel. From this standpoint, you'll be forced to pit once more. The question will be undercut, overcut, short pit, long pit. Do some of these drivers wait for that full stint, those full 40 laps, come to pit road, take 2 tires and just a little bit of fuel to see if they can make up ground? But then again, if tire wear is, significant deeper in this run, you question how much time they would lose on the racetrack itself. Or do they come in and do the halfway bonus where it's hard for half the run, come to pit road, 4 tires, full tank of fuel, maybe even 2 tires, depending on how bold you are. Head back out there and hit go, 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 basically running down qualifying laps. Versus the other strategy mentioned earlier. 56, 55. We plan, I believe, on restarting with 54 laps to go. It's going to be an interesting one. We look, we wonder, we think who to speak with. I'm going to say Dylan Alt. That's someone I want to speak with. Alt, John Ramos, you got a copy?
What's up?
I'm sorry, you seem to be mid-conversation there.
No, you're good.
All right, 55 laps to go. I speculated that I'm guessing the fuel lottery is definitely out the door here. With that being said, you have guys up front that were aggressive and some that were quick, but decided to be a little bit more conservative. What's the outlook heading to green?
I feel like the 619 Motorsports team, like Jeremy Miller and Connor Horn, were they were definitely pushing hard to get up to the lead. I'm open for them to take the lead, since it's not a very good thing to be in the lead, since you do have that rear grief. If someone's on your rear end, you get loose in the lead. So if you can break that draft, then you're fine. But since it's a restart like this, you're just going to be loose for the first few laps or so until we start running away. But yeah, I'm not going to be battling too hard for the lead. I kind of want a green flag run and get some green flag pit stops in. But yeah.
All right, going to be a lot of fun. Lining up. Man, that's so weird. You just said you didn't want to be in a lead, and this isn't really a super speedway.
Yeah.
It's a little interesting.
I feel confident about my long run pace if I just keep my tires on it. And these guys that will take the lead, I feel like they might fall off pretty quickly. And like you saw Jeremy Miller, once he took the lead and I finally got back by him, once he almost hit the wall entering turn one, or on the exit of turn one, he kind of just fell off. I think the last lap before the caution came out, he was 4/10 off of everyone else. I know Clampett is flying through the pack, so I kind of have to hold off from him if we do get a green flag run. But yeah, we'll see.
We'll see indeed. Lights off on top of the pace car. Good luck.
Thank you.
We'll go ahead and drag him back as we get ready for the restart. Dylan Alt's going to be a lot of fun to go ahead and watch, as well as the rest of the drivers yet to go ahead and find the race lead. How about the drivers like Scott, Clampett, that you know are expected to be quick? They line up 2 by 2 just one more time. Horn top side, all on the bottom. 54 to go from Indianapolis. Adios in an early shunt for the number 3 of Dylan Alt. Connor Horn finds his way to second. James Scioli there in third. Curran and Miller with Clampett on the outside. You got pushing from others. You got shunting from some. 3 wide goes Scott, trying to break through the wildness on both ends. Beckner topside, Moose on the bottom. Bowie watching on. This is just outside the top 5. Seth Berger back in 12th. Beckner in 11th. Brandon Bowie. Bowie inside of 54. Betha, Nichols, Okresic, 13th, 14th, and 15th. Mostly 2 by 2. You heard what Alt said earlier. If they want the lead, they can take it. They're worried about what happens when a car gets close to the rear bumper, getting it loose. Curran Miller, they single filed out. Next toe-to-toe is Bowie versus Moose. Moose in 34. Have breathing room, and Bowie will slot on in. 3 wide. Josh Cottle. Eric Wineland. Just behind the Barra Polima 79. Matthew Bell. Back in the 21st spot. Trying to make some type of moves, trying to see if something could work. Betha Polimis. Saw a blink out of Betha in 78. Horn's able to close in. Scioli sits in third. Logan Clampett back and forth. Miller, Scott, Hall, single file, and we're back into the pace that we had from the previous end of the yellow. Here is Seth Knoll, Jake Nichols in 73. Nichols underneath Seth Berger. And the Seths now sit 12th and 13th. .51 to go. Nichols sliding on down. Lines up with Noel. Kresick with a pretty good view of it. And as if you're watching back at home, you're saying, okay, can this go green? Because if this goes green, the winner of this race may come down to strategy. I mean, it's still very tight up front. Horn is with Alt believes he has a long run car. Thinks he can get him there, but if they start short pitting, it could play a big change in the strategy of the race. Scioli, 5'8", 5'9", nearly a 6 back in third. You got Logan Clampett just over a second back. He's up to fourth, had to fight his way through this field. How about that? Look at the lap for lap, at least recently, what Clampett's able to do trying to close to Dylan Alt. And then look at where he's been. Logan Clampett has been 43rd. Plans at some point in this race being first. If he can do it, it will be from the back to the front, and hopefully for him and his fans, he hopes to stay there as well. There's Michael Curran. Blissfully hanging out in fifth. Miller's got John Hall. Hall, winner at Homestead, already locked into the playoffs here for area. Brandon Bowie hanging out in eighth. I size up and see what he can possibly do as well. The racing action, oh, it is fun, but for the viewers back at home, I know you're hoping to hear it also tomorrow night. Let's go ahead and turn it up. The excitement of area with the Area Cup Series, one home in 2025 on the IDK Player YouTube channel. For all the viewers hanging out with us tonight, so grateful for everyone having a part in what we have seen tonight. How about Central Mobile Homes? Looking for a small or large home, a new shed, or a Triple Crown trailer? Look no further than Central Mobile Homes. They've been proudly serving Florida customers for 29 years with a plethora of small and large home floor plans, shed designs, and Triple Crown trailers available all over Florida, Okeechobee, Clusson, and Sebring. Head over to centralmobilehomes.com to get started today. And you saw earlier Hendry County Motorsports Park. Can't forget about them. Racing is back at Hendry County Motorsports Park. Join in Saturday, April 5th to see Top Gun sprints, factory stocks, and more. Tickets are $20 for adults, and kids ages 5 and under are free. Bring the family to the track with the family pack of 4 at $25. Come see the racing at the southernmost dirt track in America, located in Clewiston, Florida, off US Highway 27. Visit HendryRacing.com for more information on all things Hendry County Motorsports Park. Alt to second, Connor Horn now the race leader. When we went through the ad reads, it was that big switch up. Would not be surprised if Alt said, you know what, you can go ahead and have it. From what we heard earlier in the interviews. Mostly in that single file back to turn 3. And if you see any passing, it's more of drivers less of contesting and others saying, okay, you're quicker than I am, I'm going to let you have that position. Almost a little old school ways of doing things. Seth Berger there with David Weishart. Kind of just saw that switcheroo, 15th and 16th. Berger, Polimis, Betha, Cottle, Matthew Bell. And a Sogak, Tyler Nichols. It's toe-to-toe off turn 1. From the chute to turn 2, and a Sogak underneath. Nichols on the outside. Hayden Swank. In 23rd, Barroso. Blaze McKinney. You see Swink actually in the 70 machine outside. Barroso underneath in 23. Dylan Alt is not done. Here's a battle just behind him. That's for 3rd. Clamp it to the inside of Alt. Scioli laid off the loud pedal, and now the contested is for 2nd. .44 to go. Nobody fully getting away. Connor Horn, Dylan Alt, 1-2, clamp it back in 3rd. Alt hanging out. Is he going to go back for the lead? Gets to the quarter panel. You see Horn get just a tad loose. What to do? What to do? Horn to the inside. Alt to the outside. Clamp it to follow. And Dylan Alt will retake the race lead from Indianapolis. .43 to go. Logan Clampett finds his way around Connor Horn. .42 to go. Pack single file down the back. Clampett, 43rd to 2nd. It was soon to be 41 laps to go. He is quickly now gained pace to Dylan Alt. It's going to be one of those interesting races where you really just don't know who has what. That says, yes, this guy is clearly going to go to victory lane, or he has the better odds of getting it done. Scioli into 3rd. Horn back to 4th. Michael Curran, who after we saw the drivers move to the rear, is now up to the 5th position. .41 to go. Deeper in the field, Blaze McKinney. Saw him nearly get into it. Jonathan Evans, Reese Schaefer, Schaefer toe-to-toe in a scrum with another machine. Schaefer and Shear. Hayden Swain to the outside. He's lost spots since originally being a little bit higher up on the totem pole. And we'll line back up single file. This is how it is deeper in the field, just ahead. How about Barroso in 23? Trying to make the move inside, outside. Still now toe-to-toe. Barroso in front of him. Tanner Betho, Wineland. Finally, that 21 machine, not done yet. Blocks Barroso down to the white line. Barroso gives him a jab back as they're 3 wide at turn 3. Says you're going to race me like that. Going to get a little shove. Adam Cabot wanted to be a part of this as well. 3 wide at Indy is wild. 4 wide, you're asking for it. Cabot bails out of the throttle. Here comes the 26 of Evans. Sneaks through on the outside. Evans the 23rd. Cabot hanging out in 24th. Bailey Turner in the 25th position, and what was just that nice spread out car length, maybe a car length and a half from one car to the next, has now shrunken together. Deeper behind this, you have toe-to-toe. Shear, Swank with an opportunity of 3 wide as Nichols lays out of the throttle, and a Sogak almost put the nose on in there. 39 laps to go here from Indianapolis, and the back of the pack has been where the party has been, really, with 2 wide, 3 wide. We have sniffed 4 wide already. Or up front, everyone's kind of just on the tiptoes. Here's Clampett, just behind Dylan Alt. Connor Horn, Bowie, Nichols, Miller. Miller underneath the Nichols machine. Alt loses the lead at turn 3. Clampett takes it, and from last to first it is for 42. Question to be answered. Now what? Because we still haven't seen these drivers work their way to pit road. Seth Berger. Dane Howell. Inside, outside, back single file. Blaze McKinney. And out in 20th, Tanner Betha, Adam Cabot. 2 by 2, you have Barroso, you have Turner, you have Shear and Nichols. Comers and goers, you've seen a little bit of it up front. Outside the top 15, it's been a whole long clash. Barroso in 23. Has had a push, had a shove. He's on to do almost just about everything. Let's bring in Hunter Sleppy. Sleppy, John Ramos, back half of this field has just been insane, and they're still going out into turn 1.
Yeah, I've been watching some of the action here. Jonathan Evans got into the back of Bryce Senesac, and it upset him quite a bit. Senesac's just rolling around with damage on his left rear. Well, that's where it started, the contact. He's got damage all over the right side of his car, as well as I actually just listening to Powerhouse Racing. They were discussing about when did we last pit, and I'm pretty sure they were discussing about when they were going to pit, because we're pretty much inside that window now from different teams I've talked to. Tire wear doesn't seem to be that big of an issue except for the left rear tire. So as long as you can manage that, you'll be good to go. So you should see some pit stops within the next 10 laps.
And that's where it's going to get interesting, right? You're going to have some of these guys that are going to try to wait to maybe pull a long pit, trying to go ahead and see if they put less fuel in the car. And you mentioned the tires aren't meaning that much. You would think that is possibly the strategy to go unless you short pit, but you don't want to overly short pit and completely lose the draft, because this is right now draft dependent deeper in the field compared to maybe a little bit more up front. Actually, let me go ahead and counteract that, because just up front, they're still within drafting distance of each other.
Yeah, I think Jeremy Miller had an issue coming off turn 4. I don't know if he had the help or something, but he was super sideways on corner exit, almost at the pit entry wall. So he's outside the top 10 now.
How about that? Thanks for the update. 35 laps to go. Weissart, Okrezik, Miller 11th, 12th, and 13th, with Weissart being the 13th position, Miller being 11th. Brandon Bowie up to 10th, just in front of him. Patrick Moose hanging out there in 9th, and stride for stride, this race has come alive with the entertainment action nonetheless. Clampett and All quickly when a driver gets to Dylan All. We have now seen twice. We've seen really All not do anything crazy. Okay, you're quicker than me. You want the lead? Go for it. Who's playing 4D chess? Is it Logan Clampett or is it Dylan All? Or maybe is it that of James Scioli? We have yet to see a Solar Flare driver go to victory lane this year. They're strong at Daytona. There were some competition within the team at Homestead. Didn't really get to see him that much at New Hampshire. Scioli holding the throne for that team in the 3rd position. Have a day, Connor Horn, P4. He's had a heck of a ride thus far. Nichols has the next reign for Solar Flare in 5th. John Hall, Michael Curran, Seth Knoll back in 8th. A great rebound for the one after how the last race went. We have some of these drivers already coming to pit road, and we saw a little bit deeper in the field some drivers coming in. Justin Anasogak, I believe, was the first one. We'll slot on in with the rest of the field. In and out, Anasogak, a super short pit, which in theory should start the transition of drivers coming to pit road. What's the difference? Short pit versus long pit? Pretty simple. If you come to pit road early, you get fresher tires. In theory, you'll be running quicker lap times, which means you'll be quickly catching the leaders if we're going off just time alone. Okay, that's a positive. If it's that good, wouldn't everyone do it? Yeah, exactly the point, because if this race stays green, you come to pit road and you get the fresher tires before everyone else. When they get on fresher tires, your tires that were fresh now warm. And then you have to start battling the fact that they are technically quicker. You play the strategy call. It's up to the crew chief. Do you want the track position at this point? Do you want to go hard at the other point? That's where it gets interesting. You'll see some guys come to pit road possibly this time by, followed by others the next time by, the one after that. And so far, we're seeing short pit, at least as early as what we saw with Anasogak. Probably not the way to go. Others waiting a little bit longer. And in theory, let's say this. If Logan Clampett is that much quicker than Dylan All may think, you know what, let me come to pit road maybe a lap or two earlier. This is a massive racetrack, a 2-mile oval. If Alt comes to pit road, Clampett stays out, that's an extra 2 miles that Clampett has to use on his tires alone. By the time Clampett comes to pit road, including with how pit road works here at Indianapolis, Alt would have been able to get back on the track, give it his all, maybe on colder tires, trying to warm them up. And when they cycle on through, when Clampett has to go through the transition of, okay, now I'm on cold tires, Alt is already barreling down into 1 and 2, where in theory he could overtake because he came to pit road just a lot, maybe a 2 earlier than Logan Clampett. James Scioli sitting in 3rd, starting to close that gap. Jake Nichols, John Hall back in 6th. Has caught the back bumper there. Jake Nichols in 73. 30 laps to go. Nichols in 5th, Hall in 6th, Curran in 7th, Seth Knoll back to 8, toe-to-toe, and John Hall will quickly take that spot over the Jake Nichols 73. Dylan All has not been able to hold on to the back of that 42 machine. Logan Clampett is out of here. So does Hall on a strategy of saving, or is he on a strategy of I'm going to undercut this driver anyways and then go ahead and give it his all? Who's coming to pit road? Polimas is in. Mechner is in. And the green flag pit stops are commencing. Adam Cabot. Garrett Grant is in. Won't see Ryan Swan come in just yet. Looking to see if it's left sides only, right sides only. They talked about the left rears. That's what Sleppy mentioned. Polimas went right sides up, left sides up. It's going to be a 4-tire stop for the 79. Scioli is there to Dylan Alt. And we haven't seen the drop-off as immense as we've seen at other tracks. Just about a second, nearly a second and a half, and Dylan Alt is in. This is the undercut. The short pit. Where Clampett will stay out just at least a lap more. Okresic is in. Matthew Bell is in. Right side's up on the 8. And that long straightaway for pit road here at Indianapolis. Test the patience of so many. We've seen others speed on pit road because of it. Connor Horn, 67. John Hall, there in 03. Scioli, yes, 2 seconds back to Logan Clampett, but traffic ahead of him. Clampett is in. Oh, locks it up on entry. Michael Curran, Jake Nichols in as well. Patrick Moose. Coming to pit road, James Scioli, the race leader here at Indianapolis. So how does this cycle out? Here's Logan Clampett, he's on pit road. Here's Dylan Alt heading to turn 3. I would not be surprised if he easily finds his way around the Logan Clampett machine. Clampett is not in his stall yet. Or should I say, was in the stall. Quick stop, in and out. We weren't looking at it. Here comes Dylan Alt. Down into turn 1. Clampett still on the access road in turn 2. Curran, Nichols. Logan Clampett, provisional race leader as he finds his way ahead of the Dylan Alt machine. Barroso is in. Cottle is in. Scioli is in. Right side's up on the 7. Goes for the lefts as well. 4-tire stop. Logan Clampett thunders by the yard of bricks. And provisional lead soon to be overall lead. Seth Knoll. Currently has yet to come to pit road. Now comes on in. Hands over the lead to David Weishart. There's Schaefer, Bailey Turner, Eric Wineland, Tyler Nichols. And the number 9, Brett Punkarian, 7. Max Service, Seth Knoll is still on in, and look at that, Logan Clampett will come thundering on by. So what's the goal of the drivers that have yet to pit? Hope for a caution. Hope for a caution, or when you come to pit road, hope it's just quick enough where you can get fuel in it, maybe right sides only, and head back out. Clampett is just under 28 seconds back to Weishart. To Schaefer, he's just around 24, maybe 23 seconds back. That's with 25 laps to go. Will strategy come out here at the 29? Maybe Berger. Only time will tell, but a great run so far for Logan Clampett up there in 10th. Alt goes to 11th, provisionally 2nd. Scioli 12th, provisionally 3rd. John Hall 13th, provisionally in the 4th position. And by provisionally, I mean once we cycle on through, those drivers will continue to climb the tower that's on the left side of your screen, and where the sequence comes to a close, they will go into the spots that are currently in the provisional projected areas. Vernon 5th, Connor Horn in 6th, Jake Nichols 16th. Provisionally in the 7th position, Reese Schaefer, Seth Berger, Bailey Turner. Turner with Wyland. Nichols and Punkari in 7th. Everybody can with 23 laps to go. All in 11, Scioli in 12th. There's Hall in 13th, Curran in 14th, Connor Horn in the 15th spot. Logan Clampett putting a long pit over Dylan Alt that went on the short pit and still able to stay out in front of him. Matter of fact, that lead is a whole lot bigger than it was before they came to pit road. Three races, three different winners. Projection scale forecast is expecting a fourth different winner unless something changes, maybe that of a yellow. Turner, Schaefer, both on pit road. Hunter Sleppy almost done here with the cycle of pit stops. Any update from the drivers?
I just received word that some of the 609 guys are going to try a different pit strategy than what the rest of the field is doing. It might not work out, but we're in the closing stages of that. I literally just got word of it, so we're going to see if that plays out. The guys that have yet to stay out, like David Weishart, the leader, they're banking on a yellow to come out to save their race. Otherwise, it could be a long day for them to the finish, but still looking at the race between Logan Clampett and Dylan Alt, even though Clampett's got a long gap. I think Dylan Alt might have something for him here in the later stages of this race.
Yeah, we're going to keep an eye on it. In theory, if I'm not mistaken, they should be good to go all the way unless a caution comes out late where overtime could be a factor.
Yeah, that's the thing. If we do get a yellow, like if this race does tend to go green long enough to where we see green flag stops, so could see a late yellow. Wouldn't be surprised, but yeah, pretty much anything after the halfway point, these guys, if they wanted to pit as soon as they could have done that, but I think they'll have enough for at least one overtime restart if we do get that.
Good to know. 20 laps to go, and for a moment down the backstretch, you saw the top three. That was Hunter Sleppy giving us the great updates. Berger, Wineland, Nichols, Punkari, and Max Service were banking on a caution. Service will yield and will fall into the clutches of the rest of the field. As that of Logan Clampett was able to find his way through. Brett Punkari is fourth. Jake Nichols is third. Wineland is second. Seth Berger, the race leader, at least as of now. For the ones that are just tuning on in, there's your provisional race leader. And there's provisional second just coming his way off turn number 2. Logan Clampett, race leader. Alt provisional second. And third provisionally is that of James Scioli. Well, a big change from what we saw, not just in race 1, not just really in race 2, but most definitely there in race 3. 4 races, 4 different styles, and still 19 laps to go here with the Area Cup Series. So glad to have you guys take it out with us. Once again, April 7th, that is next Monday, we'll be at Watkins Glen, the first road course on the schedule for 2025. How about Elite Entertainment? Add some life to the party this spring with Elite Entertainment located in Bowling Springs, South Carolina. Elite Entertainment provides high-quality brand production to entertain at any location, including karaoke, singo, music bingo, and more. Visit their link tree at Elite Entertainment LLC for contact information. And also go ahead and tune into the High Banks podcast. Just 2 blue-collar guys, Nick and Alex, talking about NASCAR and more. New episodes with area drivers coming soon. Available on Spotify. You saw the rickshotsauce.com machine on the Speedway just with that number 20 machine of Ryan Swan. So if you guys want some Rick's Hot Sauce, how about you go ahead and get some, because it's hot sauce made locally in South Florida. You can try their classics of Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, or South Beach Heat. Follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year Battle in the Area Cup Series to see which driver will take home the $100 prize pool, the highest finishing rookie in the point standings. Victory Fuel celebrates tonight's win with Victory Fuel. Choose from the caffeine-free flavors like Throttle Punch, Purple Potion, or Lucky Lemon. Each can is packed with electrolytes, charged with vitamins, and kid-friendly. Get 10% off your order with code AREA iRacing at checkout. Speaking of checkout, Logan Clampett has checked out away of Dylan Alt, still within about a 4-second gap. That's where Alt sits, provisionally in third. We're going to continue to use that standpoint. It's James Scioli. Bunkari, Nichols, and Berger are pleading for something to change. Hall, Curran, Horn, and Nichols, well, conga line, single file, back to the yard bricks. $17 to go. Peeking one way, looking another. Oh, Connor Horn's able to get to the quarter panel of the Michael Curran 24. Not able to work. Seth Knoll. Peeked out of line. But not enough for a swipe to Patrick Moose. From the green flag pit stops to now 16 laps remaining in this race. Brett Bunkari, the final driver that has yet to come to pit road. Where the word provisionally will come to a close at some point when Bunkari comes to pit road. Dylan Alt in third, will soon be second. James Scioli has fire, but that's with Ryan Swan in the 20 machine. All eyes on John Hall, Michael Curran, and Connor Horn. Switch for position. Bunkari locks him up coming to the pits. And just like that, Logan Clampett will take back the race lead with 15 remaining. Hall versus Curran. Horn with Nichols. Looking underneath. Wanting something to work, thinking about having something work. Here behind, Noel Moose. Miller Okrezik. And trying to get closer. Nichols P7, Noel, Moose, Miller, up inside the top 10, 14 to go. There's a 4-second gap in between first and second. Dylan Alt led a big portion of this race at some point. The Logan Clampett 12, make it 13 laps led on the night. Coming to 13 laps to go, there's Dylan Alt, 32 of 67. Scioli got one under the belt, while Connor Horn got 4 at one point, taking the lead from Dylan Alt in the number 3 machine. 47 on the overlay, that is his number for iRacing. That is his number for the Area Cup Series, but running the number 3 this week. 13 laps to go. This is what it looks like. Horn under Curran. Behind that, a John Hall. Comes to 12 laps to go. The fight stays alive for 5th, 6th, and 7th. And add 4th to that as well. Nolan, no man's land. Oh, I don't think Miller is done with Moose. Jeremy Miller to 9th. Noel switch up. Down to the ante. Dylan All. Nah, you just don't see the power in the car. I mean, let's look at the lap for lap on what he's been doing with, remember, short pitted, Clamper, William Clampett, an extra lap more of what he's working with, at least tire-wise. And Dylan All from one lap to the next, not able to close on in. Ryan Swan getting up into the outside wall. John Hall. As Horn, Curran, and Nichols still nose to tail. And Nichols at some point is going to make a swipe for this position. Now remember, with the way the Area Cup Series works, you win, you're in, and that's how it rolls. Everyone else has to get in off of points. In theory, from how things are looking, you can have 12 different winners race for the playoffs. If we do get a repeat winner, it'll go down off of points. Nichols under Curran, so for that case alone, for the drivers that know not too many tracks for themselves are well liked, every spot means something, and that's what they're looking to work with, including with the chartered teams that are going for the championship. Alt drops back nearly 5 seconds. Jeremy Miller back there in 9th. Patrick Moose in 10th. Okrezik, Polimas, you got him in 12th. Peyton Howell is hanging out in the 13th position with Brandon Bowie. Bowie, he's inside the Peyton Howell 52. Ten to go. Down to 9. Scioli, John Hall, Hall with Horn. Jake Nichols in 6th, Michael Curran in 7th. Seth Knoll back to 8th. Single file mostly as those two start tandeming up as they try to fight for position in the final moments. Connor Horn, P5. Can he find a way around John Hall? Remember, John Hall went to victory lane at Homestead. He's locked into the area playoffs. Horn, one of the drivers that believes unless he can get a win, would have to go ahead and find his way in through points. So every spot from race 1 to race 12 will mean something unless he can bind up a win at Talladega. And a great run for that 67 up to the 5th position. Nichols in 6th, Curran in 7th. Here's Horn to the inside of Hall. Gets to him at the line. Once again, tomorrow night at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, the 28th e-ticket event. Watch the Southern 500 live on the IDK Player YouTube channel as a part of the esports coverage available on YouTube, a part of NR Night in America. It's going to be an exciting one. Nonetheless, we're going to have throwback schemes, throwback overlays. Everything's going to look amazing, and we cannot wait to have all you viewers there. League Night in America with the Area Cup Series. Logan Clampett saying goodbye with 7, soon to be 6 laps to go. Scioli's hanging out in 3rd, somewhat in no man's land, with Dylan Alt doing everything he can to close that gap. A 4.5 second advantage from 1st to 2nd. There's Clampett, just behind the lap machine. Here's Dylan Alt. He's pushing, not able to go ahead and close the gap the way he wants. We saw Horn around Hall, Nichols versus Curran. Let's see how this dance lines up to turn 3. No contest. But Nichols awfully loose to the center of the corner. Curran ready to strike. Originally qualified 4th, started on the front row after Kwame Scott was put to the rear of the field. And with 4 laps to go, Curran will like to see if he can get to the top 6, maybe just stretch out enough for a top 5. Riding that white line. For a move, looking for a feel. Inside, outside, no, you don't see that shift, you don't see that switch as well. 4 laps to go. Scioli 3rd, Horn in 4th, John Hall in 5th. You watch Knoll deeper in the field. What's next? Maybe Okrezik and Polimas are about a second in between each other. 17th and 18th, you have, is that Connell? Yes, it is. Connell and Weishart. Nose to tail. Watch on, Jeremy Miller. Check that. Watch on, John Hall. Closing the gap back to the Connor Horn machine. And around a second behind him, you still have that fight between Nichols and Curran. Drivers trying to one-up each other in the final moments of this race. Underdog story, race 1, race 2, veteran gets through the madness at New Hampshire. Textbook racing from Indianapolis has Logan Clampett ahead by 5 seconds, maybe even more, with 2 laps to go. You're Curran. What can you do? He's losing touch. To that of Jake Nichols. John Hall, I don't think he's done yet. Has the momentum, has the speed for stride. Him and Horn into the outside wall. Man, Curran getting a shove. That by Cabot. Nichols in 73. Dylan All able to close on into Logan Clampett, but 5 seconds doesn't look likely to make up with just 1 lap remaining. Santa Blanca, 1 to go from Indianapolis. Scioli, Connor Horn. Horn not out of the woodwork yet, has Hall. Nichols has Curran. Knoll by himself trying to just get to the finish as all eyes sit with 42. John Hall into the outside wall off turn 2. Not able to sit with him. Dylan All. P2. That's where he looks to sit. Logan Clampett off turn number 4 sees the yard of bricks and will go to victory lane in 2025 with the Area Cup Series. Clampett wins it in Indy. All in second, Scioli in third, Horn finishes 4th, John Hall in 5th, Jake Nichols in 6th with Curran 7th, Knoll in 8th, Miller and Moose up inside the top 10. 4 races, 4 different winners, and that's how it's going so far. The trend of 2025. Logan Clampett, welcome to the playoffs. League Night in America, feeling victories all week long for that case. Logan Clampett, does he burn it down on the bricks? Or does he pay respect to the tradition of not doing it? Let's see. He's gonna burn it down on the bricks. It's a tradition to say this on the channel. David Land would not be happy about what he just did. Burns it down. We'll speak with your winner in just a matter of moments. We'll be speaking with the top 3. Logan Clampett. Finding his way in victory lane in just a matter of moments. We'll speak with him. What a race we had. Enough to go ahead and get you excited indeed. Alt in second, Scioli coming in third. We'll wait for we'll wait for Logan Clampett to get down into staging before we can go ahead and grab him. But what a race nonetheless. Didn't look like a favorite early on, had to go from the back to the front, last to first, and just like that, Clampett finds his way into victory lane. Clampett, John Ramos, congratulations.
Hey, thank you.
Okay, let's talk about it. Last to first, you had to fight your way through. Cautions flew a certain way, and pit strategy, man, absolute bullseye. How did it all happen with the final 30 or 40 laps?
Well, I slowly got to the front, just kind of wanted to have fun this race. And, you know, Dylan and I believe it was Connor, they were racing hard for the lead, and I was just kind of sitting back waiting to make a move, and I was just kind of saving my tires while I was in their draft. And thankfully Dylan kind of burnt up his tires there, and I got out of his draft before pit stops, and I guess I had a better pit stop or something because I came out further ahead and he pit before me, so that was cool. And it was just kind of like just riding that whole entire last run, just not hoping for a yellow. So thankfully this race went green till the end, because that was a lot of fun.
It was indeed. Let's talk about, at one point you were thinking, okay, fuel lottery, it's on the board. I'm gonna have to try to go from the back to the front to win this race. Caution flies. What was going through your mind, and when did you realize, oh man, we got a legit shot at winning this race?
Yeah, I noticed that I was probably about 4.4 seconds behind the leaders when that caution came out. I don't think I was going to catch them if that went green. So thankfully that yellow came out, and we got a good restart. When we restarted 8th, got up to 4th really quickly. So knew I had a pretty good shot restarting 11th there. Just had to take care of my tires is all, and make sure, you know, those guys battled up front really hard to burn off their tires.
Able to make it work. Great crowd watching back at home. What do you want to say to them?
Oh, you know, thank you to Lucky Duck Motorsports for bringing me on this season. This is my second season with them at Area. So big thank you to them. And then the Wounded Warriors project is also on the hood. And thank you to you guys for well, I guess just you for streaming, and the admins for hosting the league.
Heck yeah, Lucky Duck first win of 2025 with the Cup Series. Logan Clampett, congratulations. The rest of the season, we're going to be keeping an eye on that 42. For there to be a winner, there has to be a driver to finish second. Dylan Alt, winner last week, P2 this week. What else did you need?
I was honestly taking a Gapplebee's. I honestly don't know what he was doing differently. I know his right front tire was way better than mine, so I feel like maybe I was overdriving the corner a little too much and waiting too long for the car to rotate, but I think it just got worse and worse and worse throughout the run. So yeah, I honestly was just clueless once he got by me. But yeah, I don't know what I could have done better.
Interesting indeed. You led a good portion of this race. Do you think that caution hurt you?
I don't think so. I feel like maybe Clampett learned something going through the field, how everyone else was driving, and maybe he kind of would back up the corner, and maybe he found something back up at the corner passing people. That could be one thing. I don't really know, honestly.
Interesting.
He was just the class of the field, so.
It had to go from last to first because of it. Well, your consistency has been very, very interesting. Loving to speak with you, it feels like, every single week. Congratulations on P2. What do you want to say to the viewers?
I appreciate you guys for watching and hanging out. I'm looking forward to Watkins Glen. I know Clamp's going to be fast there. I don't know how much time he's going to practice. I know I'm not going to really practice too much. I know he's got a college race tomorrow. But yeah, I feel like Watkins Glen's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Gonna be indeed. Congratulations on P2.
Thank you.
Let's go ahead and speak with James Scioli. Scioli, P3. Your consistency has been absolutely outstanding. Solar Flare is consistently getting these interviews, and I think it's really just because of you. How about it?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Definitely happy to finish third. You know, I mean, if I'm not gonna win, to lose to Clampett and Dylan. I mean, they're super fast. They're super clean, and they're definitely the guys you'd want to lose to if you are going to get beat. So, fortunately, just didn't quite have the speed of them today, but I felt really good and just happy to qualify up front, just stay mistake-free once again. Just kind of been lucky to stay out of a lot of the incidents this season, and super happy that this one had some long green flag runs, especially compared to last week.
I think we're going to have to start speaking on the ones that are due in the pre-race show before round number 5. You definitely coming up into that. What else is it going to take for you to find victory lane? Because you seem like you're so close. You just need one more step.
Yeah, it almost kind of takes perfection here. I mean, this league's it's gotten so good. I mean, you see the names, you see a lot of Coke drivers, a lot of guys that are right on the edge of Coke, you know, and a lot of guys with a lot of speed. So you can't really make any mistakes. You pretty much have to qualify up front and have everything go your way. And definitely looking forward to a road course. I think I'll have a decent shot there, but I know Alt will be quick, and I know a couple of the other guys will prepare and be fast as well. So I hope I can run up front again next week for sure.
Indeed. Congratulations, Scioli. P3, a podium opportunity given. Bingo. Let's go ahead and run down through this order, and then we'll speak momentarily on what's coming up next. For everyone hanging out on the IDK Player YouTube channel, Logan Clampett going to victory lane for the first time in 2025 here at the Area Cup Series. Clampett, Alt, Scioli, Horn, Hall. That being the top 5. Nichols, Curran, Knoll, Miller, and Moose running out that top 10. Okrezik, Polimis, Bowie, Howell, Bell, Cottle with Weishart, Shearer, Evans, and Schaefer running out the top 20. Blaze McKinney, Bailey Turner, Pierce, Berger, and a Sogak 25th, with Barroso, Grant, Punkari, Service, and Beckner being that top 30. This gets interesting here. Hayden Swank, Ed Robertson, Nichols, and Betha, final drivers racing on the lead lap. Ryan Swan, first one lap down in 35th. Wyland, Senesac, and Cabot finishing with the 3 laps down. Lee Norton, first DNF. Kwame Scott, who originally was going to start on the front row, also failed to finish this race. Kazun Yonashinu, Springer, Brochu, Groner, Matthew Stolnek, Golberson, Ford Martin, and Jacob Emery failing to qualify. Those are the drivers 44th on back. Hunter, we had a great race. What do we have next?
Well, we got the road course, the left and rights of Watkins Glen. It's going to be our first road course race of the season, the first of 2, I should say. Coda being the next one, but that's towards later in the regular season. I don't believe there's any halftime yellows. I know in the past we used to have that, but I'm pretty sure it's just clean and green. There's going to be no yellows for road course racing. I'll have to double check on that for confirmation on next week. But yeah, it's going to be clean and green, so track position is going to be very key. You don't want to overstep your boundaries at the Glen, so it should be fun for next week. And also, just to clarify on the post-race, there was a little bit of a conflict on the closing laps. I believe the closing corner between Jonathan Evans and Travis Beckner, which Evans and Beckner made contact, and unfortunately Beckner's car went to the inside wall. So Beckner was bound to finish 17th, but ultimately finished deep in the field because of that last lap skirmish, and a lot of unhappy drivers after this one.
Indeed. Well, for the viewers of NR Night in America, get ready, because we are ready for what is next. That's going to be the Southern 500 tomorrow at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. From all of our friends here at Area, Hunter Sleppy, John Ramos, saying so long, and for the Area fans, we'll see you next week at 8:45, 7:45 Central. NR Night in America, get ready, because the 28th e-ticket event is now.
They call it Darlington Raceway, where the excitement of man versus machine comes to life for an e-ticket event.